All right, here we are, State of Mind, and please subscribe. We're trying to get to 100,000, and I know I say it all the time, but just hit the button because I'm bringing some great guests right now. I'm trying to do this thing, and I'm going to do this thing in Graceland. State of Mind on the street. I did State of Mind in Vegas. Now we got to get it growing. So now today I have somebody who's. Let me explain something about this person. Before I started General Hospital, I thought he was like, and he was the man. I was a little like, he doesn't know this, but I looked up to, I almost said his name. I don't want to say his name because I like to build it. But I did look up to him because he had done not only General Hospital, but the Werewolf. He was the lead, and something else we'll get into later. But he's a great guy. He truly is. He's just like a blue collar guy. Truly talented, great eyes, and just a good guy. And his name is John York.
You gave it away when you said werewolf.
I know. That's all right, though.
Maybe.
I just
For many.
I didn't say your name.
That's
good.
okay.
How you doing, buddy?
It's great to be here with you, finally.
Yes. Because he doesn't do a lot, I don't think, which is, I love John because, like I keep saying regular guy, he doesn't really, maybe I'm wrong, he doesn't care about all the other stuff. And
No, I'm happy working. I'm just happy working as an actor.
let me tell you.
Been working over 30 years on this show. Who gets to say that even about working at a grocery store? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal to me. So
I will say this, John. If I were a producer, you would be the guy I would want working on my show. Because you're the nicest guy.
Yeah, but
you
that
do
doesn't.
what they but
that and $2 gets you a cup of coffee.
I don't care what $2, but you know what? I'd rather not deal with other people who are a pain in the ass.
I understand. I understand because you see stuff, and I wonder. That's why I tell a lot of the directors, I don't know how you do what you do.
I know,
I couldn't do it. You have to be a people manager in a way. You have to
Yeah.
understand people and their isms and their things and their.
But I don't even think the directors. Frank Valentini is the one who deals with all the.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he does it, but you can see that it's like he's like, how much can you take?
He does it, and he's always in a pretty good mood, because he's got so much energy.
Yeah, for what he takes.
What he takes and what he does for the show. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever said this before, but if it wasn't for Frank, I don't know if we'd still be around.
Oh, I've said it on stage.
His passion for General Hospital and his love for the show and his love for the detail, the story of the actors, of the set, of whatever's going on, it's phenomenal.
John, I've said it on State of Mind quite a few times. I'll say it again since you brought it up. If it wasn't for Frank, whether you love Frank or not love Frank, to be honest with you, you know how producers, some people love him, some people I love him, but we wouldn't have a job.
No.
Early on, he came in, saved the day.
Saved it.
I call him, I forget what the coach for the 49ers who came in and he said he did the same thing. But anyway, and then he saved it again after the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We were the first, right, on ABC at least, to come back to work.
July. I
Right.
mean, that was pretty quick for anybody to come back.
Twice he saved our jobs.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Chicago, Illinois. South Side by Midway Airport. Marquette Park is my neighborhood.
I don't know
Played
anything.
Little League. I've had 3 older brothers, and the girls are bookends. The oldest and the youngest are girls, Susan and Don, and there's Mike, Rob, Tom, and John.
Oh, really?
And everyone's married, and there's my mom and dad are gone. They had 10 grandchildren, and my oldest niece, my oldest sister Susan, has 3 daughters. Kristen has 12 children. Rachel.
Wait. Who has 12 children?
Kristen, my oldest niece. And
12?
she has 12. She's expecting her first granddaughter. And I believe, is it Agnes? Kristen, don't be mad at me. But is like going to be 2, or is 2.
I'm a little bit confused here of just 12 children. I don't think I've heard that somebody has 12 children.
Kristen, Rachel, and Lindsay. I think Lindsay has 8. Rachel has 3. My brother Rob has twin boys. One has 8 or 9. I've lost track. We just have another grandchild. So we're into the mid-50s,
John.
possibly 60s of, Yorks from my mom and dad.
That's a
running
reality
around.
show.
It is. It's great. It's really amazing. We have the best time, and everybody lives back in the Midwest. I'm the furthest one away in California, and we just have the greatest time when we're together.
No, so with all those children and all those, big family, any mental health at all? I'll tell you what I want to do. I want you to ask me about. Give me questions. I don't do this too often, but I just felt like doing it.
Well, we were talking,
Yes.
and we were talking about bipolar.
Yes.
And I said, I don't know anything about it because I don't believe I suffer from it,
No.
or have it. No. So, and I did hear someone who deals and is bipolar. It's like being crushed, being at times being held down, being something. And I still, even though, I'm listening to this explanation, it's hard for me to understand. Yeah. I will tell you that I have Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis that I had when I was 17. So take my medicine, do my thing. I got to do what I got to do to stay healthy and well. But mental health is such it's like an invisible thing. It's not your colon. It's not like you can look at it under a microscope or. So you tell me because you are always together. I've never seen you in a bad state. I've never seen you in a bad way.
I don't know. You were on GH when I started, right?
Yeah, I was there first.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of what goes down. Yeah, you were there. I know. That's why I said I looked up to John. Like
it wasn't much longer, but it was less than a year before you came on. But anyway.
Yeah, but you were on because what it was I was watching. When I got the job, I started watching GH, and you were on, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's the dude. And then I remember you did other things. Anyway.
So tell me though, okay, when you got the job,
were you
bipolar your whole life?
Yeah, well, I got diagnosed at 22. Wow. I was like, I escaped from a mental institution.
You did?
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Escaping. Yeah. That's why the story. I don't know if you know. I got New York Times.
No, I escaped from a mental hospital. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's the joke.
Yes.
But anyway,
it is.
Let's be serious.
Well, no, because that is funny. Because I don't know how many people escape from a mental institution.
The word "crazy" is funny. Escaping from a mental is crazy.
I get what you're saying.
Sorry.
Okay,
See,
John,
this is where I live. This is where I live.
I know where
humor is a big part of my life.
Yeah.
I try to go.
When I started the show,
right,
I had been out of work really. I played Desi when I came to LA. Got that. It was a big deal. And then I no job really. A little bit here and there, but I ran out of money. So I got GH. But little did I know that during those 2 years of out of work and the pressure and not taking my lithium, which is medication you take to keep your chemical in balance, right? I hadn't taken it for 2 years. So when I started GH and the pressure of GH, now you're one of the first people that I worked with. You may not have seen it. You didn't know me.
Right.
But I saw video of me during that period, which is amazing. Black. Eyes were black.
Really?
Yes. It was because I didn't know, but at that point I was starting to go through a manic episode. Now, a manic episode is when you're so high. I hate to say this because now I'm going to get in trouble, but it's the only thing I can compare it to. It's like doing cocaine for a couple nights. And and everything is, I can do it. I can do anything. Watch. And then I was out of, because you have to remember that during that, then I quit GH because I was on a manic high. And I told Paul, I don't want to act anymore. I want to take my shoes off, take my socks off, walk the streets and be a preacher.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to, because to me, acting means that I'm sick. Because the stress makes me have anxiety or depression or manic episode. So I didn't want to act anymore.
How did you keep that under control on the set when you were in a scene with someone?
In the beginning, I was really good, right? And this character's dark. So nobody knew because I was just this bad guy. It was really bad guy in the beginning. So when I quit work, they're like...
When did you quit work? I don't remember you quitting work.
It was three
For how long? You were always
for about
there.
a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But they're like, he just started. What do you?
Yeah.
Couldn't tell them what was going on. Then what happened is, I don't know if you know, but one night I drank a bottle of wine in this mania, and I threatened to kill Paula.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's what manic is. And without this, I think I talked it on Oprah, but then I threatened, and Paula was on the table. She was on a table. And I said, if you keep crying, I'm going to kill you. And she was crying, and the knees were under the table. That's how scared she was. Then she got up, went into the room, because I said to her I was going to kill her nieces. They were babies on the bed. That's what I'm trying to explain to you what manic is. It's good for the audience to know. It's in my book, so it's nothing. But then, can you imagine the fear that my wife has?
Yes. No, but yes.
Right.
Yes and no.
Then she had this I've never said, but I'm going to say it. But this is what happens when you're manic. I went and sat on the bed with the little kids, little two girls, and every time Paula would walk by, I'd put my hand on them. So Paul, at this point, Paula's like, now, I'm telling you I wasn't going to do anything, but everything is to play the game, right? But Paula doesn't know. If I say I'm going to kill something, Paula thinks I am, or maybe he is. I know I'm not, and maybe she thinks, well, does he really know if he's... But I knew I wasn't. I was just playing the game. Then she called my friend, give you another little tidbit, and she said, you need to talk to him. And he's a Christian. Mm-hmm. So I got on the phone. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? And he's reciting the Bible. And I got all weird, confused, and I'm like, I don't know. But then it calmed me down enough to go to sleep. Paula took the kids out and left the house. That's what manic, that's a little bit of what manic episode is, John.
And how often does that visit you during this time?
Oh, it's only visited me 3 times because I...
how does it happen? How does it all of a sudden you slowly become manic, or do you become manic?
It can vary, right? It can vary. Like my first, when I put me in a mental institution, it happened in a 2-week period. But do we know that it wasn't building and building and building before that? I don't know. But in a 2-week period, I started doing so much crazy stuff. Now, the second time, I went off my medication. And then once I went off my medication, about 8 months later, I had another manic episode, all God-related. And if I told you those stories...
What does that mean?
For instance, since we're into this...
Because God's very important.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know where you are in your spiritual life.
Well, I'd love to say I'm Christian, but I'm not I don't practice it like I should. So but I believe in God wholeheartedly. That's the way I was brought up. With everything that I've gone through, give you for instance, during my second manic episode, I've had 3, but I haven't had one in 30 years because I've been on my medication.
Good for you. Good. Okay.
But the second manic episode, I had to go to a church. Oh man, now I'm gonna get a fucking emotion.
It's okay.
And I was with Paula, my mom, and we got to a church and it was locked. Everything was locked. So we're walking away, and Monsignor said, he comes on, he goes, "You guys need something?" I said, "Yeah, I got to go and pray in the church." And he's like, "It's locked." I said, "Please, I need to. I'm bipolar," whatever I said. He said, "All right, I'm going to let you in, but don't go to the altar because the alarm will go off." So my mom and we sat the pew, third, and I get up and I go to the altar. And the alarm doesn't go off. My mom comes up, the alarm doesn't go off. And then Paula or my mom said, "Why didn't the alarm go off?" And Monsignor said, "Oh, I guess they forgot to put it on." So, but in my mind, right?
So, I'm a Catholic. I was raised a Catholic.
Right.
And not went away from it, but, didn't go to church. And, you do what you do. You're a young kid and you go to church, you get the program, and you go to the park with your friends and you show your parents, "Here, I went to Mass." And as life goes on, you go away from it. And then I'll try to make this as short as possible.
You don't have to.
Life goes on, come to California, meet Vicky, get married, have Skylar, still not, thinking about it, not praying, not being a practicing Catholic.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom and Dad. And Skylar's born. Skylar grows up. We baptize Skylar, but she goes to Campbell Hall School, which is a non-denominational school. But they say the Our Father and they say some prayers. But everything's it's all inclusive, all the different religions, and ultimately, when it came time for her to go from Campbell Hall, she wanted to be a lifer at Campbell Hall.
Right.
Kindergarten through high school. And when she was into 7th and 8th grade, that's when I was taken off contract for the first time. So things changed, financials, it was a very expensive school.
Yes.
Couldn't afford that. Friends of ours that we met at a charity event, their children went to Notre Dame High School. Went to the open house. Skylar really liked it. She loved the school. And so we saved a spot at Campbell Hall, and she took the entrance exam at Notre Dame, got accepted, and she got the envelope, and she was excited, and then she started to cry because she knew she wanted to go to Notre Dame, but she didn't want to leave her friends at Campbell Hall, and she knew that was going to happen. So she goes to Notre Dame. And while at Notre Dame, she comes home one night, and we're having dinner, and she says, "Dad, what do I have to do to receive communion?" And I said, "Well, you have to, go do this, the rite of reconciliation, or the rites, whatever, the RICA." And so she says, "I want to do that," because all her friends go to communion. So she does that. See, I'm going to get emotional and get goosebumps because this is the Holy Spirit working in our lives.
Yes.
Even though it wasn't there for all this time, it was always there. And Jesus is always there. And God, so I'm not someone that's going to be Skylar and Mike, my daughter and my son-in-law, who just got a great job as the faith director at a church in Tennessee. So they moved to Tennessee, and they're there now. And he's an amazing guy, and she's an amazing girl. She did all this at Notre Dame. Went to college, Boulder, and I said, you became a Catholic. She became a Catholic. And I said, don't lose that. Try to find a church instead of going out and drinking beer every night, when you're in college. You're going to have fun. And she did. And she had an encounter, with the Holy Spirit. And she just fell deep, deep, deep into her faith. She's just everything. And she's the one that pulled me back. And it's the Holy Spirit that pulled me back. And it's God in your life. So, I'm sitting here and people are going to be, oh, he's going to preach this Catholic and religious stuff, and everybody can make their own decisions. Because trust me when I say, I got a lot of baggage, I got a lot of things to answer for. I'm not a perfect man in any way, shape, or form. I've made a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad decisions in my life. I have a feeling I'll be waiting outside before I'm judged. You just sit there, John. You just wait. We'll get to you in about 1 billion years.
That's it.
You wait your turn. But it's a beautiful thing. And now my faith is the most important thing, and my relationship with Jesus.
So you're Catholic.
I'm Catholic, and I pray. I pray every morning. I spend about 45 minutes. That's what I get up. Some people meditate. Some people do this. I think prayer is an incredibly powerful thing. Even if it's not.
I agree.
And I just see how you telling me that story, that is the Holy Spirit working in you. And that is, whether you want to believe it or not, I believe it. And someone may not. I see it everywhere I go. I see it in my life. I see it how my life turned. How when I was taken off contract for the second time, my mother-in-law was living with us, and how I was able to be home and help for as much as I wanted to be on show and work a lot. Something else was happening. You just have to see what's...
Yes, John. This conversation is phenomenal. I did not know we were going to have this conversation. I'm so happy we did. And I'll tell you why, because I want to keep it in this realm for a bit, only because I don't... everybody knows I believe in God and what has happened to me with God, this, because I believe that when I go through a nervous breakdown, through a manic episode, I believe it's the devil and God fighting. Mm-hmm. And God always wins. I'm going to tell you right now, though, the devil came very close to winning during the pandemic. But God got me out again. And the beauty is, with all that we're talking about, because I want to ask you, remind me, because I forget things, especially when I'm emotional stuff about being Catholic. No matter what we go through, like you said, it's the Holy Spirit, whatever you believe in, Gandhi, Buddha, whatever it is, God. When you get pulled out, beautiful things happen. If you take that road, let's say you drink, and you get out, and you still drink, you're going to be punished even more. That's the problem. But if you stop drinking and you and you go down the right road, the rewards are endless.
It's not, punishment, which is an interesting word, because my daughter's going to argue about that. It's not a punishment. It's I don't even know what it is. So I can't, but I feel like we're choosing. So I just went to a mass. We visited them in Tennessee over our hiatus, whatever it was. And we went to a mass, and during the homily, close to the end, the priest said, "Who you are is God's gift to you. Who you become is your gift to God."
Wow, that's beautiful. I like that.
So because we make choices and we fail, but there's always a hand waiting to help you up. Whenever you feel if you feel alone, everyone's abandoned you, you're not. You're never ever alone. I'm never, ever alone. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do good things happen to bad people? All these things. I know there's books. My son-in-law says there's books written about that. So, and but what you have to deal with is,
but see, for me, when I say because I know I've had this conversation before where, I may say punished or suffer, because when I'm in there, in that pain, that's what it feels like, man. It don't feel like anything but that I'm getting punished and I am suffering, and it's so painful that you really don't feel like you can go another day. When you're in this kind of, now this isn't the bipolar, although I felt like that with bipolar. This was during anxiety. When you feel like you can't go, and that feeling doesn't end for 24/7.
So how does it
That's
change?
Anxiety now.
So, but how does it change from that manic, and how does it, where do you go to come down and to take the breath and to say,
you go get professional help.
I'm okay now.
You go get professional help, and then they give you usually a Xanax or something to knock you out. And then what happens is, with me, once I'm down, then I go through depression.
I've known you for over 30 years, and I've never seen you anything but upbeat, funny, the greatest guy in the world to work with, a mentor to everyone you work with, all the young people, all the young men and women on the show that come through, because everybody comes through Sonny's door,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because, John, I don't think you were around me any time that, I did, when I was on the verge another time with anxiety of wanting to end my life, I had to go to work. Donna, remember Donna, lovely Donna. She never really believed in anxiety. Like, it was like, you can do it, get up, just be strong. And I'd be like, Donna, you don't understand what it feels like. And then one day I came in, this is when Paula got throat cancer, and then I was supposed to do this movie. I didn't get on a plane to do it, whatever. I was just dying, and I had somebody go get Donna, and she came into my room. And she was, maybe kind of like you, like, she was tougher, though. You were at least curious. She was like, it's nothing. And she came in there, and I was in a ball, crying. And I saw her eyes go, oh. And I had to go upstairs and work with William DeVry and Billy Miller. Can you imagine?
No.
And I had the monologues in the scene.
Even being fine, I can't imagine. Just kidding, Will.
We're just kidding, brother. But they probably couldn't tell, but I was dying. I mean, it was so difficult. But you and I you haven't seen
that. I haven't.
But let me go back to Catholic. I'm going to tell you why I was raised Catholic. And my mom and, very, God, everything. It's beautiful. I love it, right? My mom was my dad eventually got more into God. Now he passed away. But I never loved the rules about being Catholic. The rules where you have to go and you have to, you know what I'm talking about. And then one day I was going through my third, I guess, nervous breakdown. And I went to a church, and the guy wouldn't let me inside the church, the priest, because of the way I was dressed. And I said, I'm going through a manic episode. He goes, I'm sorry, I can't let you in there. I said, that's when
Right.
Now, then I became a Christian, because anytime I go through a manic episode, it's so God-related that I become, born again and all that, right? And then what happens, I feel like I'm confessing my sins to you right now, but that's all right. So then what happens, I become born again, and then it just kind of, here's what I think happens. Now that we're talking, let's talk. This is the most incredible conversation I've had in a long time. I'm not joking. And I've done 140 of these things, and this is
good.
I didn't know this was going to happen. But anyway, I think what happened with me is I become this born-again Christian, and then I don't take that right road, what I told you.
What road you take?
I'm not saying real bad stuff, but it's just not, I don't.
You know, we all know what's right and what's wrong. We all know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
How many times have I taken the wrong road? I've taken because it tastes good, sounds good, feels good.
Exactly.
Smells good. I've got to try it. I just want to try it. I'll come back over here in a second, but I just got to try this.
Exactly. So what happens is, I think, and this is just hypothetically speaking, I think that's when the devil comes. Mm-hmm. And so, for instance, things were pretty good before the pandemic, but once the pandemic hit, a lot hit me, and then the devil comes. And he's like, back again, because you've not been the greatest. And then I have to go through that, and now God comes around, gives me another chance, and here I am. Look what's happened in my 2 years here. The greatest 2 years. But not only great with State of Mind and, at GH and Emmys or whatnot. Not only that, I feel good in here. Mm-hmm. I feel like normal, like you. You know what it's like to feel normal?
Yeah, I think I feel normal.
That's what I'm saying.
Aside
John,
from everything else, I am.
I don't have that feeling usually that I've had for 2 years, where I'm at peace inside.
That's the thing, being at peace. See, and that's what prayer does for me. So however people need to kind of find that. But I came to prayer, and then I made it a habit. I made it a habit to get up. This is I love getting up early. I get up at 5:30 in the morning every morning, and get my coffee and sit, and I say a lot of prayers, and I just think about a lot of stuff. I think about my family, and there's issues with miscarriages and just different things, and other physical ailments, cancers, or whatever's going on that people get through or they don't get through. But prayer is powerful. It's a powerful form of personal expression of thanks, I believe.
I agree.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer. I'm just some stupid guy from Chicago that's got a great job, and I got lucky. But it's all part of this same road, man. It's all part of the same. I used to tell people that when I started in this business, there was always a hand to help me. When I want to be an actor. Well, what do I need to do? Well, you need to go do this. And all of a sudden, there was a hand to pull me into this agency, and I got to this agency. And then there was another hand to take me to California. Then there was another hand to get me to a job, here to make money. And another hand. There was always a hand, but there's someone putting those hands together, I feel, and it gives me goosebumps. And it's a journey. It's not a race. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon of getting there. How you finally are finding, hopefully, your peace in what you do. And here we are, gray old men, and you find this stuff. Nothing's important for me. My job and my relationship with you and having my work is what's important. It's not stuff about like that. I mean, stuff is okay. I mean, I like my golf clubs, but that's my stuff. It's relationships. It's joy. It's seeing, in one prayer, help me to see the face of God in the people and experiences of my life. And that's what I try to do. I went and got propane today. And you go to a gas station, and this guy was, your gas station kind of attendant guy, and kind of out there and a little crazy and telling me stories, and you just stand there and listen to him.
That's the beauty.
And I actually said to myself, see the face of God and the people, and here he is. There's right in front of me, and listen to this guy.
John,
it was awesome.
That's because I have never really felt the way I do now my whole life. And I keep saying it, and I think it is. I guess it's just the way normal people should feel.
I think that's why I'm here now, instead of being interviewed any earlier than I am right now. For some reason.
It's a trip.
It's a trip. It's a trip.
But there's a spiritual thing going on in this little room here. I felt that already. Yeah, there's a little in the state of mind room. If you sit in here, it's just a connection. But John and I, we've always connected, but it's amazing. Like, I have had talks with Leslie Charlson in here, but I didn't know her for 30 years.
Right.
But in here, I got to know her. She talked about suicide.
I never knew you had these places that you went
because
to.
When we work at GH, it's like a family, but it really isn't like a family, because this is more a family.
Right. I don't like that expression. I've never liked
family.
Like a
family.
We're a family.
Yeah.
We work together. We're not. We see each other maybe sometimes more than our family, but we're not.
Yeah, but to
my family's my family.
To me, it's more like high school.
Yeah,
that's why I like GH.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you get to be, but you don't get deep. This is getting deep. I mean, I don't know. This is real deep. We're gonna end this, but I want you to, since you've been so incredible, whatever you want to talk about, I just want you to talk about right now.
I kind of have talked about everything.
Okay.
I found out a lot about you that I never knew, and I think you're an amazing guy, and you've overcome a lot of obstacles, that people don't understand, and nobody can understand your personal struggles within you. No. Nobody could ever, no matter what I say out of my mouth, nobody could ever understand what you're going through in your life. But I would only say that there's always that hand out there waiting for you to reach out and grab it.
Can I ask you a very important question though?
Mm-hmm.
How was it when you got the cover of Playgirl?
I don't even remember, but I just saw that. My brother just sent me that from Minnesota. Their group that Googled it.
I mean, no, but let me tell you something.
I don't even know how I got asked to do that.
John, you're on the cover, though.
Was that from General Hospital years
Yes.
or Werewolf years?
Because you beat out all the soap guys. You know why I know that? I didn't look at it, but you know what?
It's a cover of Playgirl magazine.
Do you know why I know? Because I looked you up, and I saw the cover. And on the cover, it has all these names of soap people.
Do I have time?
Yeah, you can look at it as we're doing it. We have there's a list of soap people, so you got the cover over those soap people.
I don't know how that happened, but if I can get my brother Rob's.
Now, but you weren't naked, right?
No, I was not naked, but I did have that button unbuttoned, you know, and the zip pulled down just a bit. That's what Vicky got awful mad at that. She was like, "Why did you unbutton your button?" I'm not going to find it. It's going to take me forever.
Yeah, you were on the cover, and it said insights into the soap actors, and there was a lot of names on there, but you were the one that got the cover.
Oh,
you got it?
Is this it?
And you were like this on the side? Yeah, the top one. Look at the top. There's all those names of soap people, but you got the cover. You beat all those guys out.
This is the button.
Oh, that's the best.
There's the button right there.
Oh, that's amazing. Is that you?
That's really, they put my face over Antonio Sabato's body. I look all right.
All right,
Young
listen,
guy
I'm
from
gonna
Chicago.
I'm gonna say this before I get off the phone here. I don't know what I thought John was gonna come in here and talk about. Okay, I love John, but I didn't know it was just gonna be like Playgirl, and then I was gonna talk about Werewolf, and you know he's been on the show forever and all that stuff. But this is. We were on our own spiritual connection here. I felt it as we were talking. It was like going through us. And I solely appreciate, is that a right word, solely? I don't know.
I appreciate you sitting down with me because this is the first time I've ever talked about this stuff.
Yeah.
Ever in public, you know, in a public forum this way. So, you know, again, I don't have the credentials to preach it, talk it, tell
Doesn't
it. I can
matter.
only talk about my experience and how wonderful and beautiful it is. So I hope people feel the love that is waiting for them and that surrounds them, and it's awful. It's awesome. It's
beautiful knowledge and a lot of depth, and I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for
Thanks for
coming
inviting me. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, we're out.